Today we have the updated and refreshed 2024 Kia Seltos. This Kia Seltos begs the question, is this one of the best small SUVs you can get for about $30,000 or less? Well, in this video we're going to take a detailed look at the exterior, the interior, and get it out on the road for a test drive. Let's get started. Now let's take a look at the exterior details of this refreshed Kia Seltos. So first thing is the trims. Let's start with the base LX, the S, EX, X-Line, and the top end SX that we have right here. Now with this refresh, we get a revised front end and back end as well with some different lights, a little bit different design overall. And this SX Turbo is going to be the most loaded out model as well. What do you think of this grille, the whole front end in general, that newer Kia emblem here too? We've got some pretty cool daytime running lights on here, LED headlights on this one, LED turn signal, and LED fog lights. Now you don't get LEDs on anything except this SX trim. One cool thing with these Seltos is the paint. You can get different paint colors and some two-tone options like this one with the Pluton blue and the black roof. We also get anywhere from 17 to 18-inch wheels, and we have the 18s right here. What do you think? Dimensionally, this is definitely compact. It's only 172.6 inches, so it is quite a bit smaller than some other compact SUVs, especially mid-size SUVs, but it is still fairly spacious on the inside, and ground clearance is a little over 7 inches. And then if we take a look at the back, you'll see these revised taillights. What do you think of that? It's not quite a connecting bar, but it's pretty darn close. And you have the LED taillights as well. Now, when we get to the cargo area of this Kia Seltos, it's surprisingly big considering how small the vehicle actually is. And you can get one higher end feature on here if you want. You can get the hands-free liftgate option on this SX model. This particular one doesn't have it, but you can get it as an option. It's where if you have the key fob on you, you just stand here and in a few seconds it will automatically open up. But let's take a closer look. All right, y'all, let's take a look at the back end. So since we don't have the power option, you just get this little pad right here. It's still easy to lift and gets up out of the way quickly. And you got about 26 total cubic feet back here. This is a good size area. That's a pretty large backpack right there to give you reference as far as the space. One neat thing is that this is a dual level cargo floor, so you can just pull it out and boom, it slides down, so it's significantly deeper down there. You can stack taller items in here, and you even get this little cargo cover. The only thing I'll complain about back here is I would like to see a couple of cargo hooks, not just tie downs, but actual hooks for like holding a bag or a grocery bag or something like that. If you want to fold the seats down, you've got to come back here. And even with that front seat where I normally sit, I didn't have a problem getting it down. Obviously there's a big gap right here, but we have about 62 cubic feet now with the seats folded. And one of the coolest things is you can put that cargo floor back up so you have a nice, flush, smooth surface overall. And some vehicles are getting rid of this. You still get a spare tire and a good amount of space underneath. Now, taking a quick look at the key fob, we get this Kia key fob. Everything looks very familiar to what we've seen. You've got the buttons on the side. You even have remote start here with the smart key on everything except the base model, which is a nice feature. So this also has the option for a digital key. The digital key is on the XS trim, which is where you can use your cell phone essentially as a mobile key. Otherwise, you push this button to lock it or unlock it. Either way, there's no sensor in the back. Now, climbing into the front seats here, the EX and SX models are going to give us 10-way power adjustable seats. We also have the synthetic material here. You'll either get synthetic or cloth. I think these seats look nice. They have pretty good bolstering on them and some decent softness to it as well. So down here with the 10-way, you get the 2-way lumbar support, height, tilt, all the things like that. If you want heated seats, the button is going to be right down there. That is standard on this trim, even optional all the way down to the S trim. Now, ventilated seats, on the other hand, they are available, but only on the SX model, and they're not on this particular one that we have here. Overall comfort and space is still good in here. I think most people are going to be comfortable with the amount of space in the front or second row. Steering wheel is leather wrapped here, and the SX gives us a little, they call it a sport steering wheel. It's got a little flat bottom right there, and it is manual, tilt, and telescoping. Now let's take a look at the back seat here. So first of all, over on the door, plastic up here, but a soft armrest and a little bottle holder down there. Sitting behind myself, I am 5'9". This is where I normally like to sit, and I have, surprisingly good foot and knee space considering the dimensions. I could be totally comfortable here because there's enough foot and knee space down there. You also get standard air conditioning vents. That's fantastic. Always good to see. A little storage slot and USB-C charging ports. There's a little hump in the middle, so middle passengers might not be the most comfortable, but if we take a look at The armrest, it is padded. You've got some space right here for some bottles too. And then even wearing a hat, I've got plenty of room above my head. No problems whatsoever with this. The seat does recline a little bit too. You can pull that lever and be just fine. Now as we climb inside and take a look at the interior, things look similar, but you got a big screen available on the instrument cluster and the dash on many trims here. Now I did mention that bottle holder down there, but it does not fit my large type of bottle. It's got to be pretty small. Push button start is right back there. Go ahead and hit that. We've got this large 10¼ inch screen right here, and this is actually on multiple different trims, everything except the base model. You can cycle through a lot of different information right there in the middle. And over the last 2,200 miles, this has averaged about 27.6 miles per gallon, so something to keep in mind there. You can change the view of everything on here too, so you don't have to have this kind of screen, which I'll toggle through in just a second, but just to give you an idea of everything that you can see on here. We use the steering wheel controls over here to control everything. You can go to this screen, change the settings, and then it's going to pop up on this main display here. And this is where you can adjust some stuff. So I'll go to cluster theme. I have it on dynamic right now. You can have it go to whatever drive mode you have, but let me show you. This is A, this one is B, and then you got C, and the last one that I had recently was dynamic. This 10¼ inch screen is also on everything except the base. The cool thing is, even the base model still gets an 8-inch screen, but there's no wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Even on this top trim, you have to be plugged in. The plug-in is right down there, which is a little bit annoying because it's right in the middle of where you kind of want to store some stuff. There's a wireless charger right up above that, but you can't use it if you want to use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Most trims will give us a 6-speaker audio system, but this one, this SX model, gives us an 8-speaker Bose system. Coming down from there, we've got single zone climate control. So it looks like a dual zone layout, but you just have one zone on everything except the base model. The base will just be your standard manual control, but I like the layout right here. I like the buttons for the, the main screen, the volume knob, the tuning knob. So you have physical controls if you want it, in addition to the storage space down below there. If we put it in reverse, this is what we get. My backpack behind us, but you get a dynamic camera with movable lines. There's no 360 camera on here. The drive mode dial is right here. We'll go through that in the test drive. Then you got your heated seat, you got your camera that you can just pull up, your backup camera. It's not 360 camera or anything. You can lock your center differential, so you got power to front and back wheels the same, and even a hill descent control if you're going down steep grades, which most of you will probably never use. Coming back a little bit more, we've got our parking brake right there, automatic brake hold, and some good sized cup holders, but they are very plasticky, and there's no like ring in here to accommodate different sized drinks. Inside here we've got our armrest. It's a little bit of padding, not a ton, but it's at a good height. Open that up and you've got decent space inside, but there's no charging ports or anything like that in here. Kia gives you a glove box down here, but it is not a locking glove box. One thing to consider, decent size though. Our rearview mirror is automatic dimming just on this SX trim level. And then overhead, we even get LED lighting in here in several different trims too, something to keep in mind. The visor, when you slide it out or move it out, it can slide just like that, which is great. And you can get the sunroof optional, but we do not have a sunroof in this particular model. Now under the hood, there actually is one change for this refresh, and it comes with this 1.6 liter engine. But first, the base option is a port injected 2-liter 4-cylinder. That 2-liter is fairly underwhelming with its power numbers, and it comes with a CVT transmission, but this one right here actually gets about 20 horsepower more than it used to. This one now gets 195 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque paired with an 8-speed automatic. And the weird thing with the Seltos is that all-wheel drive is standard on several trims. Front-wheel drive is only available on the S and the EX model. Kind of weird that it's not just across all trims, but that's the way it is. And one complaint that I have as far as miles per gallon, it's not quite as efficient as some even bigger vehicles like the RAV4 or the CR-V. And I wish that they offered a hybrid variant, but you still have at least a couple options if you want more power or if you want something a little bit more efficient. All right, y'all, we are now behind the wheel of this Kia Seltos. And this one, as you heard, has more power than the other models, and it's got a pretty good bite as far as its torque and its horsepower. Now, I have driven the Seltos before. I've driven a couple different models, and it's a mostly enjoyable vehicle to drive. So this turbo definitely has good punch. I like the fact that it has a regular automatic transmission instead of a variable transmission, which can feel really springy and kind of just not the greatest. But we'll talk about ride comfort and noise and all the things like that. While we're sitting here, one thing to mention is ergonomics in here is pretty good. The screen feels a little far back, like it's almost like it would be better if it was in line with this piece right here, but it's kind of a reach. And then these controls are all easy to use and operate. It's not like some where you have to think and be very precise on where you touch a touch screen while you're driving. You have physical buttons. It doesn't take much attention to do those. So I definitely appreciate that. The armrests down here are in good positions, but this one is definitely really tiny. Now we are just in normal drive mode. We'll go through the drive modes in just a bit, but a little pedal down here. There's a little delay in getting going, but it's mostly responsive for the most part. That wasn't floored or anything like that, but acceleration is definitely smoother in this one than with the CVT, something to keep in mind. One thing you might notice is there's a decent amount of road noise that gets in here. You will have a noise reducing windshield on every model, but you know, with this class and these size of vehicles and the price range, they typically don't offer a lot of sound suppression. It's not bad, but it's something to keep in mind. In terms of handling and ride comfort, just kind of day-to-day drivability, it just handles fine. I mean, it's not sporty. It doesn't feel sporty in any way at all, except for the fact that it's got a little more power than some, but it does a great job day-to-day. It's easy to park. You don't really lose confidence with it, with any of that. And ride comfort is good for this size of a vehicle as well. Let's get pedal down. Just a little delay there, and then we get going. You've got a pull out of this turbo though. That's definitely a factor. I'm gonna put us in sport mode, pedal down. And you get going pretty quick. It's going to hold the RPMs up a little bit more. You also have another drive mode. You can put us in smart mode. They probably thought I was trying to race them because I got on it next to them. Smart mode is going to keep you in between like a sport and normal. So if you're driving a little more aggressively, it's going to keep the RPMs up as if you're in sport mode. If you're not, it's going to keep it more like an eco mode where things are dulled down, throttle's dulled a little bit like that. But overall, what do you guys think as far as the viewers? It handles fine. You know, it's not great. Like I said, it's not sporty, but it's not trying to be. And for this price and the amount of features and the amount of space, there's a lot that you can like about it. Like I mentioned with the powertrain, I think there's really just one thing I'd like them to see or to offer is a hybrid option, because so many options or so many different vehicles nowadays are offering that. But the Seltos does not. So you're kind of stuck with something that's not as efficient as it probably could be, but at least you have two different powertrain options. So to wrap things up on this 2024 Kia Seltos, I definitely like the updates on the outside and on the inside, and I really do think this is one of the best value small SUVs you can get for the price. You've got good power, you've got good space, and a good amount of features on the inside, so it's really a well-rounded option. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think down below, and have a great day.